Hey guys, Luke Bowman here again from Harrison Tax and Accounting. Want to give you guys a big thanks for tuning in yesterday and setting aside some time to go over the CARES Act with us. I hope we gave you some good information to take the right steps towards getting that check a little bit quicker than we were anticipating. Today, I'm going to focus on the small businesses and the Paycheck Protection Program loan. This originally came out on March 27th. They gave us an update yesterday. So I want to follow up with you guys on that and tell you what's going on there. So there's 6 questions that I want to answer for you guys. The first one are the updates about the PPPL that came out actually yesterday. It was signed into the bill on last Friday, but banks started accepting those applications again yesterday at 10:30 in the morning. I'll get to that on how we're going to go through that process. 2, who's eligible for this loan? There's been a lot going around about not many people being eligible for this loan. We have some details for you about who is eligible, who is not. Question 3, who are you applying to? Where do we apply to? Who's the best lender to apply to? This is the most common question we've got from some of our clients, so I want to address that. Question 4, is this loan forgivable? What are the forgiveness clauses? Question 5, how do I calculate my average monthly payroll? You have to have that number for your application to figure up your loan amount. So it's pertinent that you guys know how to calculate that. If not, how to find someone to calculate it for you. And lastly, I just want to give you guys more information on the backup that you will need to submit with this loan application so that it can be processed as soon as possible. Okay, so for the first one, we're going to go through the updates. As I said, this was signed into law back in March 27th. The $2 trillion stimulus check that we discussed that included the Paycheck Protection Program, included the economic injury and disaster loan. 349 billion of that 2 trillion went directly to the Paycheck Protection Program. And after 12 days, the entire balance of that Paycheck Protection Program loan was gone. So in 12 days, $349 billion was given out to small businesses. This tells us that lenders are getting through these applications quite quickly and sending out the money to these small businesses as soon as they can. So for you guys who have not applied yet, getting that application in as soon as possible is only going to benefit you. So as of last Friday, like I said, they put another $310 billion into the Paycheck Protection Program. Now, as of yesterday, April 27th at 10:30 in the morning, some of these small lenders started accepting their applications again. So if you have not applied, again, let's get those in as soon as possible and get our way onto getting a nice loan that could really help you guys moving forward. Question 2, who is eligible? So the businesses that are eligible for the Paycheck Protection Program are those that are deemed a small business by the SBA. To keep it short, if you have under 500 employees, in most cases, you are going to be eligible. If you have questions about that, shoot us a message, comment below, and we'll get that answered as soon as possible. Nonprofit organizations are definitely eligible as well. We've had a lot of clients ask if that's an option, and it is an option. So you nonprofit organizations, don't tune us out. You guys are definitely eligible to get this loan as well. And then lastly, for the self-employed business owners, the sole proprietors, and the independent contractors, even if you don't run payroll, we could be eligible for this loan. Like I said, if you guys have questions on that, please comment below, give us a call, shoot us an email. We want to answer those questions for you, but we also want to respect your time here. So you self-employed business owners, please give us a call and we'll help you out with this loan process. Third, where do you apply at? There's been a lot of confusion about the SBA versus where you apply at. The SBA backs these loans. The Paycheck Protection Program loan is going to come from the bank, not from the SBA. Like I said, the SBA is backing these loans. So you're going to apply to your bank to get a Paycheck Protection loan. We have had a lot of success with the smaller banks. They usually turn around those loans a lot quicker. But if you're not a current client at the bank that you are applying at, they have to go through the entire onboarding process, setting up bank accounts and making you a client before they can process that application. And that process is just going to take way too long to get your money on time. So we highly recommend using a bank that you're currently a client at. And I also want to bring up, there's an article on the Journal of Accountancy. The CEO of Chase Bank, Jennifer Roberts, said that Chase is no longer taking applications for these loans. Now, we may be curious why they're not taking the application loans. So a lot of these big banks are taking their time and not accepting these applications because the terms on these loans are incredible. Moving forward, we'll get into a little bit more with the forgiveness clause, but this loan can turn into a 24-month loan with a 1% interest rate. You're not going to find interest rates like that anywhere else, and these big banks aren't going to make money on that. So that's why we have always recommended applying at the smaller banks if you're a client. Okay. Next, is it forgivable? This loan can be forgivable and should be forgivable if you use the money correctly. So the regulations from the SBA on this is that 75% of the funds at least need to be used for payroll expenses. So paying your employee, paying your federal and your state tax payments. 75% of this money has to go towards that. Now, the other 25% can go towards rent payments, can go towards mortgage interest, and it can also go towards utilities, which does include internet. So there needs to be at least a 75-25 split there. I would recommend doing more for payroll if possible and less for rent and utilities. That way we are confirming that this is still a forgivable loan. Like I said a minute ago, if we aren't splitting 75-25% on this money, or we aren't able to spend it in the 8-week period they're allowing, this loan does turn into a 24-month loan at a 1% interest rate. So like I said before, that's a loan and an interest rate that we can't beat. So if this money isn't spent after the 8 weeks, it's really not the end of the world. The payments are also deferred for 6 months. So hopefully we can get some income back in when we open up and we can start paying on that loan, because this is definitely a loan that companies, small businesses around the country are definitely going to want to be a part of. So how are we going to calculate the average monthly payroll? So what you're going to do is you're going to find the last date that you ran payroll. And then we're going to take a 12-month summary of the pay from that date. So if our last paycheck was dated Friday the 24th, last Friday, what you're going to do is you're going to take your payroll records from April 24th of 2019 to April 24th of 2020. So we're going to take all of the gross numbers, so your pay before taxes, and add those up, and we're going to divide it by 12. And that's going to give us our average monthly payroll. There are some questions on what else can be added in. You can add in the state unemployment to that number. If you have any other questions about what can be added, like I said, comment below, give us a call, shoot us a message, and we'll get that back to you as soon as possible. Now, once you divide that number by 12 to get your average monthly payroll cost, this loan can be up to 2.5 multiple of that amount. So what they do is once you put your average monthly payroll in, there's going to be a box right next to it that says multiply by 2.5. That's the amount of the loan that you are eligible for. And lastly, what backup needs to be supplied? So like I said, we are applying through our bank. We are not applying through SBA.gov. SBA does back these loans, okay? So what backup we need to give to the bank is the Form 940, which you file at the end of the year for your federal unemployment. Your Form 941s, those are filed quarterly. Those just show your federal tax payments, your Social Security, and your Medicare payments that you make through the first, second, third, and fourth quarter. Now, they're going to want all 4 quarters for 2019 and the first quarter for 2020. So supply all 5 of those forms with backup, and that should be good there. What else a lot of them include is the 12-month payroll summary. So you should have it from the slide before showing your gross pay. They're going to want to see that in that calculation to supply the banks with that. And then it's different for every bank. So we also see a lot of banks that want to see your utility expenses, They want to see your rent expenses. They want to see your mortgage expenses. That way they can track and see how much you actually spent on that 25% portion of the loan that you can use for those expenses. But what I would recommend is really just give them as much information as you can. You can't give them too much information, because if you don't give them the information they need, they're not going to be able to process the application as soon as they need to. So just keep in mind, if you give them too much, they can always put it to the side. If you don't give them enough, they got to give you a call. They got to reach out to you, and that just slows the whole process down. So that's what I have for you guys today on the Paycheck Protection Program loan. If you guys have any questions at all for me, please comment below. Please shoot us a direct message. We really want to be able to help you guys out there, and see what HTA can do to help you. So lastly, if you guys tuned in yesterday, I'm sure you guys know that we gave away a mug at the end for the first person who shares. So today we have something new. The first person that shares gets not only one, but two of our HTA pint glasses. So first person to share, we will send both of these to you guys. We can mail it to you, can have it to the office, whatever's easiest. Like I said, first person to share gets these gifts. Again, thank you guys so much for your time today. We have one more presentation tomorrow on the economic injury and disaster loan for you small business owners again. And we look forward to seeing you then.